Secret Life of the American Teenager is an incredibly hypocritical show, and I feel like there's no way that it could not be, because simply it is made by Christian pro lifers. I prefer to call them anti abortion people because at the end of the day, we know they're not pro life. But these people punish all of these women in the show for having sex, okay? No matter what way they do it, no matter if they decide to conform and keep the baby, we are still punishing all these women. And what really gets me about this is that if you are trying to push abstinence, right? In the way you will not have sex until you are ready to get married and you have a baby. We needed to be focusing on so many other things. Now, here's the thing, we know as a society, the abstinence model literally does not work. But I just think about the entire thing of the show was that they were worried about what everybody else was doing, okay? Who was with who was sleeping with who has slept with who in the past, who has a baby with who. Like, can you think of any actual non relationship other than family drama that these kids had? They were just up in each other's business in more ways than one. But like we didn't they went to school this entire time, not even a project. Not even a project. And I mean, listen, there's an aspect of unless you're going to focus on part of the school, other subjects, right? Kind of like Degrassi, right? They still did student council, they still had school projects, right? And this is the thing where I say it gets hypocritical because even if we did give them school projects and we focused on other things, right? The Degrassi kids were still fucking at the end of the day, okay? Yes, they had family issues. Yes, they had deep personal issues. Yes, they had student council drama, but they were still finding time to fuck around. At the end of the day, that's just the truth. But I just wonder, and as I've said, we can't really work with the abstinence model at all because it doesn't work. But I just go like, even if that's your prerogative, right? To me, this is a marketing issue for them. If you are going to market abstinence, right? You have to say, maybe let's give you something else to do. As we know, we've talked about Degrassi, that doesn't work. Nevertheless, did we give anybody here something independent to do? No. Now, Grace, she still at least wanted to go to med camp and she wanted to become a doctor, right? But Jack keeps pulling her back. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? And even with all these other, like, Amy eventually, at the end of the series, she was going to go off and do her thing. But I just go like, we really took the passions away from these girls because we got them so caught up in the relationship drama of it all. But I was thinking, like, well, yes, because here's the thing, even if everybody has something to do, some independence away from the drama of the group that keeps them somewhat sane. And we can't keep them sane because we need the drama, okay? It's a drama filled show. We can't have women being so independent and having their own things to do that when the time comes, we need them to fall back in line, right? We kind of saw this with Adrienne, which she was a sex positive person. She became pregnant. She was set on getting an abortion. And then randomly she was like, you know what? I'm going to keep the baby, right? And then she immediately falls in line and she gets married to Ben, even though they don't like each other. And Ben was just like, I guess this is what I have to do. And he just wanted to do it so he could look like a better guy than Ricky. That's a whole, we don't have time for all that. But like, this show truly would never make any sense because it can't be. Because the anti abortion, anti sex stance, it just, at the end of the day, doesn't work. It literally does not make any sense. Like, even the progressive things they put in this show, they didn't last. Or they're like, we're sort of make this person progressive, but then we make them fall back. And I don't even know if they entirely know what progressive looks like, but we don't even have the time to get into that. But I don't know. I was just really thinking about how this message is really hypocritical and none of it makes sense for so many reasons. But like, it also can't make sense because you can't write a show like that without being hypocritical. Because how could you? If you gave these girls or these guys a life outside of who's fucking who, who's sleeping with who, who's got a relationship with who, then we wouldn't have a show. We wouldn't I mean, we could have a show, it just wouldn't be the show that they wanted to push their agenda. What do you guys think?